Okay, we are live. Hey there. Sorry, we had some delays. I was trying to wait for a few more people to join. I just posted the link in our group. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, I gotta turn up my volume. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay. All right. I have the timeline pulled up as well. Okay, so for anybody who's listening live or who is going to listen to the replay, we are covering the two missing children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. They were last seen, was it September 23rd?
JJ was seen September 23rd. It was the beginning of September is the last time we have that Tylee was seen.
Okay. Okay. We actually have an updated timeline that Christina spent a long time verifying facts and getting the truth of everything behind Lori and Chad and Lori's brother and extended family members because there's so many people involved in this. And it's very confusing. I even get lost at times with people's who's who and who was married to who and who's now deceased and who's, you know, here and who's there. There's a lot of people surrounding this case, and it's very crazy. So, thank you for putting together the timeline and being so in depth and thorough and verifying facts because I believe we had information before that was shared that we found was actually incorrect. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What was that information? Do you want to clarify it for people listening just so?
It it was said that Lori's second husband and her second husband William, and I don't know how to say his last name, and her third husband Joseph Ryan both petitioned for divorce, and that's not true. It was actually Lori that petitioned for the divorces.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. And she had a protection order on one of them, didn't she?
Yes, on when she filed for divorce from Joseph Ryan, they issued a temporary restraining order.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Absolutely
they issued
crazy.
right away the day that she filed.
Okay. Hold on one second. Sorry. Is it terrible that I have to have my TV going, my phone going, and a computer going when I do a live? So I can read the comments on my TV, reply to them on my phone, and then be on the computer with StreamYard. It's crazy how much goes into this. It's nuts. Oh, hey, Irish. Irish is down there in the comments. Okay, so we're going to go through the timeline that you updated today, actually. It's pretty extensive. We can just read through it. So anybody who listens to the replay actually has some verified facts. All of this is actually verified and has been researched, and there's extensive information. Hopefully we can get through all of it tonight. I will do a screen share so you guys can see what we're reading. And do you want to start with it, Christina? And then
I'm on my phone. If I pull it up, will it exit me out?
um it shouldn't. I don't know. I don't think it should. It
Okay.
shouldn't.
Okay. I can try and see if it'll kick me out.
Okay. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and screen share it with you guys so that you can see it. Hopefully you can read it. You probably can't read it, but
Okay, I've got it pulled up.
okay.
Do you want me to start at the beginning?
Yeah, if you want to start at the beginning, and because there's a lot of deaths that surround this family. Lori has a
Oh,
sister. Yeah, Lori has a sister that's dead. Um,
she got two sisters that are dead.
yeah, two sisters that are dead. One that died as an infant, correct?
Mhm.
And
Yes, she was uh, about a month and a half old.
okay. And then an adult sister who died. And then we actually found out yesterday that she's got two brothers too. Alex is dead, but there's another brother, Adam, who is a DJ who has a death. It's not really his fault, but it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy.
It's just
Um,
crazy how death surrounds them.
yes, yes. And I don't know. Let me see if I can make. Can you guys see the screen share or no? Does that make it any better? Kelsey, there's no cause of death yet on Alex. His autopsy is still out. It's still in the process, I believe. Oh, hey, Lisa's down there. Hey, Lisa. Okay, you can go ahead and start reading it. I'm going to mess around with some settings and try to get this
Okay.
bigger for people.
August 17th, 1956, Leland Charles Anthony Vallow was born in Lake Charles, Louisiana. November of 1958, Joseph Anthony Ryan Jr. was born, but we don't have a town or a state for him. His obituary was very blank. August 11th, 1968, Chad Guy Daybell was born in Provo, Utah. May 4th, 1970, Tamara Tammy Douglas Daybell was born in Pasadena, California. August 5th, 1971, Laura Lee Cox is when it's Lori's sister that was the infant that died. That's when she died. Um, June 26, 1973, Lori Noreen Cox was born in San Bernardino, California. March 9th, 1990, Chad Daybell and Tammy Douglas marry at the Manti Temple in Utah. October 22nd, 1995, Lori Cox marries William LaGoya in Travis County, Texas. April 8th, 1996, Lori's first son, Colby Jordan Cox, is born. There's no father listed on his birth index. Joseph Ryan, her third husband, adopted Colby and gave him his last name, Ryan, which is now Colby Jordan Ryan. December 17th, 1996, Lori Cox files a petition for divorce from William LaGoya in Bexar County, Texas. February 25th, 1998, the decree of divorce was issued in the matter of Lori Cox versus William LaGoya. May 21st, 1998, Stacy Lynn Cope died. That's Lori's other sister. She died of a diabetic shock. 2001, Lori Cox marries Joseph Ryan in Maui, Hawaii. Hold on. September 24th, 2002, Tylee Ashlyn Ryan was born. August 13th, 2004, Lori Ryan petitions for divorce from Joseph Ryan. A temporary restraining order was issued against Joseph Ryan in Hays County, Texas. September 23rd, 2004 was Julie Rowe's first vision. September 28th, 2004 was Julia Rowe's first near-death experience.
I just got to stop you for a second.
Oh,
For anybody who listens, Julie Rhodes' visions are very interesting and very scary
yeah.
and bizarre. And oh boy, it's something else. Okay, sorry to interrupt you. I
Oh,
just had to say that.
you're fine. I wasn't sure how to describe her
Yeah, I don't know how to describe
or
her
who
either.
she was
It's
or how to tie her in.
Yeah, it's insanity. That's the best way that I can describe it.
May 18th, 2005, the final decree of divorce in the matter of Lori Ryan versus Joseph Ryan was issued. February 24th, 2006, Charles Vallow and Lori Ryan marry in Clark County, Nevada. August 8th, 2006, Joseph Ryan files a petition to modify the divorce decree and a motion for temporary and a permanent injunction. August 18th, 2006, Joseph Ryan petitions to modify child custody and transfer their case to Travis County, Texas. September 7th, 2006, an order was granted to transfer the case of child custody to Travis County, Texas. January of 2007, while Adam Cox, Lori's brother, was a morning personality for KDND FM in Sacramento, California, a 28-year-old woman named Jennifer Strange died of water intoxication hours after participating in an on air radio contest that was broadcast live by the station. Do you want to go into more depth about Adam Cox's contest? August 5th, 2007, when leaving a kids' exchange in Travis County, Texas, Joseph Ryan was approached by Alex Cox, Lori's brother, in the parking lot. Alex Cox told Joseph Ryan, "We need to talk," and pulled an object out of his clothing. Joseph Ryan thought it was a gun. Joseph Ryan turned to run, and Alex lunged at him. He felt a shock to his shoulder and then a second shock to his back. Joseph Ryan fell to the ground and realized it was a stun gun, not a gun. Alex threatened to kill Joe. Joseph Ryan got up and ran. Alex chased him around the corner until they ran into a witness that saw the stun gun. Alex then walked away. Joseph Ryan was seen by an ambulance but didn't go to the hospital to get checked out. He went to the hospital the next afternoon with chest pains, neck, and wrist pain. He ended up with a fractured right wrist, and Joseph Ryan reported he was in fear of his life. Alex Cox then ended up with a second-degree felony of aggravated assault.
So that's crazy.
Mm,
Um, because that was Lori's husband, and her brother assaulted that husband, who's now dead too,
right. And threatened to kill
and
him.
then and threatened to kill him. And then, 12 years later, Alex actually kills one of Lori's husbands, which is
Right.
nuts. It's nuts. And I tried to, I didn't realize my mic was muted about Adam. Jumping back to him being a DJ, we have an article about it. There's not much information. I think what's upsetting about it is that he's actually writing a book about this, about
Yes.
how this woman died while he was a DJ and how it's pretty much ruined his life. That was my take on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or his reputation, I should say. I don't know about his
Right.
life, but his reputation. I
Because he was like
didn't.
blackballed for years.
Yeah, yeah. And the one interview that I did see, we posted it in the group. I might be able to play it actually. Let me see if I can find that really quick. I can show you guys the interview of Lori's brother, who um, was the DJ involved with a water drinking competition, and somebody.
And there was a couple of nurses that called into the radio station telling them how dangerous it was, but they didn't stop it.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's I've never seen anything like this with
Oh,
so many people dead.
right. There's
And
just
then
bodies everywhere.
right, and then you add in the how do you say it? I think you say it the right way. AVOW, is that how you say it? The
AVOW.
whole
Yeah, I
yeah,
say how to say it.
the whole AVOW affiliation and preparing of people and the Julie Row and the visions, and it's just nuts. And in the middle of it is these two little kids, not little, but I mean,
Right.
JJ's young and he has autism, and Tylee's a 17-year-old young girl, and nobody knows where they're at. And they're surrounded by all of this insanity. You
Just innocent children.
Yeah, and you can't wrap your head around it, and everybody just wants to know where these kids are, and their
Right.
parents won't even, or I should say their mother won't even say, "Hey, yep, I'm telling you they're okay. Let me show you on FaceTime. Here's a
Right.
15-second FaceTime video. They're alive, they're okay." She won't say that. The
She
FBI,
refused.
yeah, she refuses. Absolutely. And the FBI has actually said these children are in danger,
Uh-huh.
and they believe that they're in harm. They're not with Lori and Chad. They don't know where they're at, or what has happened to them. And I am a firm believer that the FBI just doesn't say that.
Right. For no
So,
reason.
yeah, for no reason. I'm going to show this video of Adam really quick in
Okay.
regards to the death that happened while he was a DJ. And yeah, I believe his radio station was actually found liable. He was fired.
Yeah, they came
Um,
in like that next Monday and they told them they should get attorneys and then they fired him and told him to leave.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
ended up a whole station down, the whole channel.
yeah. A lady, she was found dead. I believe it was 6 hours later after the contest. She was
Yes,
found dead in her apartment on the
that
floor.
afternoon.
Yeah, she suffered from actually hyponatremia, which is
Uh-huh.
what water overload.
Right.
I'm getting to it. I just gotta find it where I posted it. And Adam, I believe, actually, he's, Lori's only living brother now. Says that he doesn't have anything to do with.
Yeah, they said that since Charles died that they haven't spoke to him.
Yeah, yeah. Since actually yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I wasn't planning on pulling this video up, so. All right, let me figure out how to. I know how I can find it. I'll just do this. All right, that should do it, I think. All right, it's coming. 1 second. Hmm. That's not it. That's crazy. Okay, it's coming. Sorry, guys. Sorry. It took me to the wrong. This is it. All right, can everybody see it? All right. Okay, you guys can't hear it. I don't know why. How about I will share the link to the video in the comments and you can watch it on your own. It may be because I have headphones plugged into the computer. I'm not sure. So I'll share the link in the comments. And you can watch that. Let's see. Okay, you guys can watch it when you get time. It is in our group, but I'm not sure why it will not give me sound. It's not my night for technology. But there is the link that you can watch afterwards. Just to give you an idea of what he said and how he reacted to that death. And there's an article too that you can find in our Facebook group. I'll drop a link to the Facebook group shortly. But we can go ahead and move on with the timeline because it's pretty in depth. Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep. I'm gonna actually make it a little bit bigger for everybody.
Okay. October 31st, 2008, Brandon Boudreaux, I think that's how you say it, and Melanie Cope marry in Utah County, Utah. May 25th, 2012, Joshua Jackson JJ Vallow is born. Now, JJ is Charles Vallow's great nephew. 2013, I can't even talk. Charles and Lori adopt JJ through a kinship adoption. March 2015, the Daybell family moves from Utah to Salem, Idaho, because Chad heard a voice telling him that's where he was supposed to move. I don't think
he heard a voice,
but I believe it was a voice that told him.
Okay.
July 12th, 2017, Preparing a People's first podcast is called Is Rexburg, Idaho, the Promised Land? In their debut episode, Michael and Nancy James, the owners of Color Media, discussed their upcoming Preparing a People conference held at the Rexburg Tabernacle Civic Center. Michael discusses with co-host Chad Daybell his latest book, Living on the Edge of Heaven. I don't really know what the book's about because I haven't read his books, and I don't really want to.
I kind of thought about it, but I don't know that I want to take my mind there. He's got a whole series of books
that I don't think I want to.
Yeah, I don't think I want to either. But at the same time, I'm like, is there a clue in there?
Right.
Is there something in there that could lead to these kids that need to be found? So, yeah. If anybody wants to read them, let us know.
Yes, please do.
Oh, Tony's down there in the comments. Maybe Tony would take one for the team. and read them for us because a few of us get a little freaked out by this stuff.
Oh yeah, it really freaks me out. Just knowing these type of people are running around loose and it's scary.
Yeah, it is scary. I can read some if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. On July 12th, 2017, the Preparing a People podcast #1 is Rexburg, Idaho, the Promised Land. In their debut episode, Michael and Nancy James of Color My Media discuss their upcoming Preparing a People conference held at the Rexburg Tabernacle Civic Center. Michael discusses with co-host, oh, is that her initials?
Chad Daybell.
Oh, sorry, guys. With co-host Chad Daybell, his latest book, Living on the Edge of Heaven. Oh, I have that video too. Do you guys want to see? I don't know if it'll play though if I try. I can try to play it. Um, yeah, we'll wait because they said they couldn't hear it. Nobody could hear it. Hmm. This might actually work though if I'll just keep reading. Okay. Summer of 2017. Chad meets Melanie Gibb and her friend after one of his speaking engagements in Utah and becomes instant friends. Melanie requests Chad speak in her hometown, Mesa, Arizona in the future. April 3rd, 2018, Joseph Ryan, which is Lori's ex-husband at that point, dies from a heart attack and is cremated. He actually was not found right away. Wasn't it like
It
a few
was a
weeks?
neighbor that called in a welfare check, and he had been dead for around 3 weeks, is what detectives had told family members.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's another odd circumstance, but
And it wasn't an extensive autopsy.
yeah, his autopsy was just an external one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so his autopsy was just an external one. They did not cut him open and examine his organs. They just did like an external autopsy and then said he had a heart attack and cremated him.
Right.
So it's another interesting thing that has
Okay.
occurred. In June of 2018, Chad Daybell feels the need to speak in Arizona in July and contacts Melanie Gibb for help to set it up. She sets it up within a few days with Jason Moe. July 2018, Chad Daybell travels to Mesa, Arizona for a speaking engagement with Jason. Earlier in the day, Chad has dinner with Melanie Gibb and a friend of Melanie's. And just to clarify, Melanie is
She's a
Lori's niece, correct?
No, this Melanie
Oh, okay,
is
this is a
a
different Melanie.
of ours who lives in Mesa, Arizona. She's from there. She is with Preparing a People, the Arizona chapter.
Okay.
And she also teaches some kind of class on Fridays in Mesa, Arizona, in Gilbert, Arizona, um, about your helping you on your spiritual journey. And that's about all I know about that.
Okay, and she's friends with Lori.
Yes, they are who Lori does her podcast with.
Okay, gotcha. There's a few people that have the same first name, so
Oh,
okay. Um, in December 5th, 2019, Preparing a People podcast #1, Time to Warrior Up with Lori, Melanie Gibb, and Jason Moe. They published their first trio podcast of Preparing a People Warrior Up. The podcast is Lori and Melanie's idea featuring powerful women. July 15th, 2019,
that's
which was
January.
oh, I'm sorry, January
You're okay.
15th, 2019, which was actually a year ago.
It was actually when
Preparing
we went missing for those 58 days.
Lori went missing during the 58 days. Yep,
That's
that's when she took off,
yeah,
right? Yep.
took off and said she didn't want anything to do with Charles or the kids anymore, and he could have them.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And that's when, okay, so that's when she drained the bank account,
Uh huh.
correct? Yeah, she
Yes.
drained his bank account. She changed the locks on the house when he was out of town. He was actually out of town and went to fly home, and she had canceled his flight to fly home.
And took his truck.
Yeah, he books another flight and gets home and arrives at the airport, and his truck was gone from the airport. He has to rent a car. He rents a car to go home. The locks are changed. When he gets inside, Lori had packed up, emptied the house, emptied the bank account, took the kids, and then he went through hell back and forth with her about the kids. Like, she took the dog's service collar, she took JJ's iPad, which
Medicine.
had, yeah, his medicine, which had, the iPad had apps on it because he's autistic, so they were apps specifically for
To
um
call.
yeah, to calm him and to help him. And
Right.
she refused to give any of that back to Charles, who at that point had the kids, and she said she didn't want him, and she takes off for 58 days.
And she even took his work computer and his clothes and his underwear.
Yeah, and drained the bank account of almost $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. It's nuts. Okay, so July 15th, 2019, Preparing a People podcast. Time to warrior up with Chad Daybell, part 1. Our Arizona team invited Chad Daybell to Mesa area to speak and do this podcast about his life. Having died twice when he was younger, Chad joins the warrior trio for the first time. They have lots of laughs and a good time.
This was the
So,
first podcast Lori did with Chad. Now, when they met, I don't know. I haven't been able to narrow that down yet.
yeah, I've seen it said many times, like, that she was enamored by him for quite a few years
Uh-huh.
before.
I just
She,
can't confirm it.
yeah, I can't confirm it either, but it's been said over and over again. I think she read his books and became just,
Yeah, they said after she started reading them that she was just obsessed with him.
yeah, you have to remember during this time too, when they met, Chad had already been having the visions that his wife was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
So Lori's, taking off, leaving her kids, draining her husband's bank account. She threatened his life at the time. She told Charles that she was going to kill him, all kinds of crazy stuff. At the same time, Chad is having visions that he's telling Julie Rowe about, that he's having visions that his wife, Tammy, of, gosh, I want to say they were married over 30 years, weren't they? Or over almost 30 years?
29
Um,
died.
29 years, okay. He's telling Julie Rowe that he's having visions about his wife's death. So at this point, a year ago from right now, actually,
Yeah.
Lori and Chad meet and do a podcast together.
Yes.
A couple weeks later, on January 29th, 2019, during a phone conversation between Lori and Charles, and after their physical separation, Lori stated she was a god. What? She stated she
Yeah.
was a god assigned to carry out the work of 144,000 at Christ's second coming in July of 2020. If Charles got in her way of her mission, she would murder him.
Those were her words in the court documents.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, in the court documents, I believe it was said that he had some recordings, voice recordings of her saying some of this stuff.
Well, he had enough to where he was able to go get a petition from the police department to have her checked out psychologically.
Yes. Even
So,
though,
in order to do that, you have to have evidence that somebody is showing erratic behavior in order
right.
to do that. Because if you don't have evidence, let's be real, couples that have marital problems all the time would be like, hey, I need my husband to be checked out. He's psychotic.
Right.
You can't just say somebody's crazy and the cops take your word for it. You have to have documentation. So I do imagine that he had quite a bit to be able to get that order that was put
Oh,
in place. Okay, so on the next day, on January 30th, after Lori said that she was assigned by God to carry out work for his second coming, there was another conversation between Lori and Charles. Lori kept referring to Charles as Nick Schneider. When asked who Nick Schneider was, Lori replied with, Nick Schneider was Charles Vallow's real name because Nick Schneider had killed Charles Vallow and taken his identity. Then Lori warned Charles she would kill him upon his return home and had an angel there to help her dispose of his body.
yeah.
So,
There's that.
yeah, yes. Um, about a week later, on February 6th, Lori transfers Charles Vallow's 2,000 enterprise points to an unknown account. 9 days later, on February 15th, Charles Vallow files for a divorce petition requesting temporary sole custody of J.J. Vallow. March 18th, 2019, Chad Daybell travels to Mesa, Arizona to attend a Preparing a People book signing event where Chad Daybell and Jason, is that Mao or Mo? Mao
I
are, yeah, I'm going to go with Mao. I don't know, are
don't
presenters. On March 5th, 2019, Charles Vallow filed an order of dismissal in divorce proceedings in the custody case. The next day, on March 6th, Charles Vallow's divorce petition and custody case was dismissed. Keep in mind, this was 4 months before he was dead.
Yes.
April 10th, 2019, Ian Pawlowski violates a domestic violence protection order. His attorney is Seth Bartholic, who is the
It's supposed to
same.
be Sean. I typed it wrong. It's supposed to be Sean Bartholic.
Okay.
That's the same attorney that represents Chad and Lori now.
Yes, that is the same attorney who's representing Chad and Lori today. Um, he's like a family law lawyer, I believe, isn't he?
Well, he does family law, but his specialty is criminal defense
Okay.
for the firm that he's at now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So 5 days later, after Ian violates the domestic violence protection order, his wife, Natalie Pawlowski, files a divorce petition. Do you want to explain who Ian and Natalie are?
Ian is Lori's niece, Melanie, that has been stated to have followed her with the whole cult following. She ends up marrying Ian. And Ian has kids, and it's been said that Melanie and Ian are sharing custody with Natalie, like getting them and, taking them for a while. I don't know how often because she didn't say.
Okay.
But
All
that's how
right. And
he fits in later.
yeah, yeah.
Well, not real later, but I mean later.
All right. In June of 2019, Melanie suddenly accuses Brandon, and Melanie again is
Lori's niece.
Lori's niece. She suddenly accuses her husband, Brandon, of hacking into Lori's laptop, then states that she has a revelation that Brandon is gay and proceeds to demand the divorce. This happened while they were on a trip in Utah. Melanie forced Brandon to leave the location they were staying at. That came from an inside source close to the family.
Yes.
On June 13th, 2019, there was a Venmo payment from Lori Vallow to Colby Ryan, her son, and it was captioned Medicine with a Heart. June 20th, 2019, Charles and Lori rent a home in Chandler, Arizona from a gentleman named Joe, a close friend of the family. On June 30th, 2019, there's a Venmo payment from Tylee Ryan to Colby Ryan that says crew neck shirt with a smiley face. July 8th, 2019, Brandon Bordeaux files a petition for divorce from his spouse, Melanie Cope Bordeaux, Lori's niece, per her request. On July 10th, 2019, there was a text between Charles Vallow and Joe, the landlord and friend, at 7:49 p.m., making plans to meet the morning of July 11th to find Charles a new place to live because things weren't working out between him and Lori. If you want to, you can go ahead now if you want.
Okay. July 11th, 2019 is the date of Charles Vallow's death. He was shot by Alex Cox, claiming self-defense. A dispatch call was received at 8:36 a.m. LE makes a statement that Alex Cox and Lori Vallow are released with no pending charges, no arrests, self-defense, and the case will be sent to Maricopa DA and they made the post by 5:45 p.m. Lori, Tylee, and JJ left the scene of the crime before LE arrived, allegedly in Charles Vallow's rental car. The handgun was found on the floor next to a bag with the gun case inside of the bag in the bedroom that had pink paint and black and white stripes. Allegedly, Tylee Ryan grabbed the bat to defend her mother against Charles Vallow. Charles Vallow then grabbed the bat from Tylee Ryan, swinging it, and hit Alex Cox in the back of the head. Alex left the living room, went into the bedroom, retrieved the gun out of the case that was inside the bag, and shot Charles Vallow twice in the chest. It was said he performed CPR until LE arrived. It's all allegedly. That's according to the police reports that were released and the body cam footage. On July 11th, 2019, landlord Joe received reports from neighbors claiming there was crime scene tape around the house. Joe texts Lori and Charles asking if they were okay. Lori responded with, "We're fine, I'll explain later." Landlord later is told by neighbors Lori Vallow hosted a pool party the night her husband was killed. We haven't personally seen like confirmation that had neighbors come and tell us, but he spoke with neighbors that said there was a pool party that night.
Yeah, and he actually posted this.
Yes, in the group.
Yeah, well, these are the cult weirdos again. You don't even, like, I can't. These poor kids. And the thing is that this is, the focus is on finding these two kids. These two kids are missing. The FBI
they
has
got lost in all this mess.
Yeah, these kids are lost in the middle of this mess. The FBI has said that they're endangered. They said that, they're not with Lori, but Lori knows what happened to them or knows where they're at. That's the FBI's words. But surrounding these kids is all of this. And it's still going on because since these kids have been reported missing, there's been a body exhumed from a grave. There's somebody else who's dead, who it's just insanity. There's not been any arrest yet. None. Not one person has been arrested.
Nope.
It's nuts.
And it just keeps going.
It does. I don't know how they even keep up with all of it. How do they keep up with all of this whole facade that they're putting on for everybody? Because we all see it. We see what's going on. We see that nothing is right. Everything is just all kinds of fucked up everywhere.
Right.
And there's like how many dead people? Let's see. Chad Daybell's wife is dead. Charles Vallow is dead. Joseph Ryan's dead. Alex Cox is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else is there? That's
Uh,
4. That's 4 just in the last,
that's in the last
what?
2.
Yeah, less than 2 years. Yeah, less than 2 years. That's what they're saying, Amy. That's what they're saying. That it's, I think they're suspecting poisoning via prescription pills for Chad's wife.
Yes.
So
And Alex's death sounds like poisoning.
Alex's death sounds like poisoning too. Yeah, but see, that's the thing, Will. How much do they need to build a case? Like, they didn't even do autopsies on these people. I'm sure they did. They did one on Charles because
Yes.
he was shot. But when it comes to Chad's wife, they didn't do an autopsy on her. They took his word for him. The cops took his word for it that his wife woke up coughing and stopped breathing. She was what, 49 years old?
Yes, and she
She,
was
sh
training for a marathon.
Yeah, she trained for marathons. She was healthy, she was happy, she had no health problems, and she just dies and they don't do an autopsy. So now they've buried her and she was probably embalmed, I would imagine, and they have to exhume her body and do an autopsy on somebody who was already embalmed and buried. It's just crazy.
She was buried within 3 days.
She was buried within 3 days. It's like the extremist Mormon version of Goodfellas. That's true. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then in the center of all this, there's these two groups, AVOW, which is another voice of warning,
Yes.
and preparing a people, which have very, very, very strong um, cult-like characteristics.
Yes.
Very strong. I mean, the media has labeled them as cults, and it's scary.
But don't invite them to your Facebook groups because they don't like that.
No, they don't like it when you call them a cult. They don't. Um, the leader and founder of A Voice of Warning, I actually had quite a few words with him
Oh,
before he left our group. Um, yeah, it's insanity. That, that is probably the funniest description I've heard of it. The extremist Mormon version of Goodfellas. I'm going to start saying that one, Amy. Okay, you can keep reading. I'm sorry.
oh, you're fine. July 25th, 2019, Ian Pulowski's divorce decree to ex-wife Natalie is finalized. August 5th, 2019, there's a Venmo payment from Tylee Ryan's account to her brother, Colby Ryan, with a orange heart and 2 exclamation points. August 10th, 2019 is the last known FaceTime call between JJ and his biological grandparents, Larry and Kay Woodcock. The call lasted 35 seconds. Kay Woodcock said that the way she saw the call was it looked like somebody was holding the device for him because normally when he carried it, all you saw was the ceiling and he would just run while he was on it. But he never called back like he normally does. He normally calls back constantly and he never did. They never heard from him again. August 31st, 2019, Lori texts the landlord stating she's moving and does not give the destination. All she tells him is that she's leaving. This is where the keys are. The door's locked. We're out of here. September 3rd, 2019, Lori registers JJ at Kennedy Elementary in Rexburg, Idaho. September 7th, 2019, Preparing a People's Podcast number 2, Fill the Fire. What is a baptism of fire with Lori and Melanie Gibb? Following up on their first Filling the Fire podcast, Melanie and Lori share what their baptism of fire was like with insightful references that an ancient wise man, Nephi, I guess that's how you say it, spoke about. How did it help Melanie in her own life with a special needs son, with feeling like she didn't know how to navigate her challenges and what it took for her to experience? that clean feeling in her heart. Lori is so descriptive with ways that fire can feel to all of us and how that was manifest in her life. That was September 7th, so that was almost 2 weeks before the last time JJ was seen. September 10th, 2019, there's a Venmo payment from Tylee Ryan to Colby Ryan with a heart. September 16th, exactly 1 week before the last time JJ is seen, there's a Preparing a People podcast number 3, Fill the Fire, with Chad Daybell sharing Jesus' love with Chad Daybell, Lori Daybell, and Melanie Gibb. Emerging from a spring and summer break, Chad Daybell joins Lori and Melanie to share things he has been shown about the Savior of the world, with insights from 2 near-death experiences and a visionary gift that was opened up to him because of his visits beyond the veil. I don't know what Beyond the Veil is. I don't know if it's a book that he's written or if it's a reference to something, because
I,
we can't
I
find the podcast because they took them down.
yeah, that's another thing. All of their podcasts are completely wiped. And from experience, Real Massacre Talk had their podcasts completely wiped. You can still find them. They're just no longer on, like, I mean, we used Anchor, but they're no longer on Spotify or Apple Podcast or any of that. We're rebuilding it, totally off topic. You can still find our podcast, though, on like random sites that store audio archives. You can't find these podcasts. They're gone. Like, they were wiped clean. Whoever wiped them clean knew what the hell they were doing and
Mm-hmm.
did not want those heard. And they keep speaking about like this beyond a veil. This veil thing is mentioned. I've heard
Yes.
that word many times.
And on the other side of the veil.
Yeah, on the other side of the veil, it's like they live in a
They live in a different
alternate.
world.
Yeah, it's an alternate reality. It's flipping insanity. So, and yes, I'm being judgmental because it's not normal stuff. It's not normal thinking.
It's not just having different beliefs, it's to the extreme.
Oh yeah, it's preparing. I mean, get ready guys because the end of the world's coming
Right.
in about 6 months.
Yeah, they have a date and everything.
Yeah, they have a date. So I would guarantee that none of us are included in that 144,000 and I'm okay with that. So
Yeah. I'm not really into like living in tent cities and all that, and trusting
yeah.
someone to take care of my food and all that.
Yeah, and I know Sienna explained this to me and what they believe. They believe that like the end of the world that Lori believes in that's coming means that they will help rebuild the earth.
Basically, they're going to be the ones that are left, basically, in a way to be the only ones to start over.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, in a way, build the new world. I guess you could say, after everybody's gone.
Yeah. And she believes she's sealed to Morani. I think that's the name.
Maroney. And
Moroni.
I don't know a lot about the whole Maroney story because I don't really understand it, because apparently it's never been confirmed he ever existed. So I don't really know how all that works.
Okay. Oh wait,
Then they
let's
have,
see.
the special underwear that they wear.
Well, maybe okay. So Miss MS is in here. She said she's former LDS. Maybe she can confirm that for us. But she said Beyond the Veil is talking about the afterlife. There's a veil between this world and the next. Hope that makes sense. Yes, thank you.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I've seen the term mentioned quite a few
Yes.
times, and I totally misinterpreted it. I was wrong.
I just didn't know what it meant.
Yeah. I honestly I interpreted it like as Lori because her rants and the things that she says are just
Yeah.
so not normal that I interpreted it as her alternate reality, I guess.
Right.
I was wrong about that. So okay, we can keep going with the timeline.
Okay. September 23rd, 2019, Lori goes to Kennedy Elementary and checks JJ out of school. The next day, on September 24th, Lori withdraws JJ from Kennedy Elementary with no record. She doesn't ask for a transfer or anything. She mentions wanting to homeschool him to the principal. The principal doesn't recall seeing JJ with Lori that day. So, right now, September 23rd is the last day that anybody has physically seen JJ. October 2019, Brandon Boudreaux takes his and Melanie Boudreaux's children and goes into hiding for safety reasons after an attempted hit on his life. We don't have the exact date of when he left. It's just been said it was in October. October
Yes.
uh, October 2nd, 2019, the hit on Brandon Boudreaux's life takes place. Brandon Boudreaux drops his kids with Melanie. He goes to the gym. He returns home. While pulling in his driveway, he notices a vehicle parked on the street near his home. He sees a male. Later, he allegedly identifies him as Alex Cox with a gun and a silencer pointed at him. He then heard the shattering glass of the driver's side door window and bullet holes above the head of the driver's side door of his Telsa. Vehicle of the assailant is later allegedly identified as the Jeep belonging to Tylee Ryan, still registered in the name of Charles Vallow. There's no mention of this incident publicly in the press, the media, articles, anywhere prior to the children being announced missing on December 20th, 2019. I've searched everywhere. There's no word of it anywhere.
There's not. And what's crazy, so Alex is identified as being the alleged shooter. Alex has already shot and killed Charles. He's driving the Jeep that is registered to Charles and belongs to Tylee. And he attempts to kill Lori's niece's husband. It's just,
And
this is,
there's no word nowhere about, be careful in this neighborhood or stay indoors. We have an active shooter somewhere. I mean, nothing.
yeah. I believe he has made like a public, he's talked publicly about this. There's a video, isn't there? Or no?
Uh, it's been said that there's a recording, but I don't know what kind of recording.
Okay. But yeah, he's in hiding. Still in hiding.
Yes, supposedly.
Yeah.
Melanie, when she's contacted about the incident, she shows no concern for Brandon or their shared children at all. They said that she was very just nonchalant, like, okay, thanks for letting me know. And that was it.
Yeah,
October.
that's, I don't know. I can't wrap my head around
The
that.
more I think about it, the more it blows my mind, even though I already know all of it.
Yeah, it's honestly like, so has anybody ever watched the show Shameless?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, but minus, the drinking and alcohol and all of the other stuff thrown in the mix. This is
Right.
just like,
It's pure chaos.
yeah. Yeah, it definitely is chaos. Okay, so on October 4th, 2019, Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy, goes to visit her parents per Chad's urging request. And you have to remember at this time, Chad is still talking about his visions of Tammy dying. He keeps saying that his wife's going to die, and he urges her to go visit her parents. 5 days later, on October 10th, 2019, Tammy Daybell makes a Facebook post on a neighborhood group page at 9:30 p.m. stating, "Okay, neighbors, something really weird just happened, and I want you to know so you can watch out. I had gotten home and parked in our front driveway, as I was getting stuff out of the back seat, a guy wearing a ski mask was suddenly standing by the back of my car with a paintball gun. He shot at me several times, although I don't think it was loaded. I yelled for Chad, and he ran off around the back of my house. I have no idea what his motive was, and he never spoke, even after I asked him several times what he thought he was doing. I was about to smack him with my freezer meals from enrichment tonight when I decided to yell for Chad instead. FCSO received a 911 dispatch call from Tammy Daybell regarding the attack. They came out to her residence and took a look around and didn't see anything. They ruled it as a prank. And what's really crazy about this is Chad and Tammy's house, which was recently raided and searched, is like in the middle of nowhere
With nothing around it.
with nothing around it. It's not a place that somebody would just randomly show up with a ski mask and probably not a paintball gun. I don't think it was a paintball gun. I think she maybe wasn't familiar with firearms and thought it was a paintball gun. Um, I mean, I could totally be wrong, but
That
it's
throws me off every time I read it.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
somebody's in the dark at 9:30 at night. It's going to be dark. They're pointing a gun at you, and you're going to ask them several times what they think they're doing, and going to hit them with your food that's not frozen yet because you haven't had time to put it in the freezer yet.
yeah, yeah.
That
It's very,
those,
it's very, yeah. It's just crazy. You can't even.
can't make this stuff up. You just couldn't.
No, not at all. You can't. Thank you, Miss MS. She said she's happy to answer any other random wording phrases that might be LDS to shed light on the phrases.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
new to all of this and listening, watching while cleaning, so apologies if I missed anything. We appreciate that very much because um,
We're very confused.
we do get very confused because none of us are Mormon and we don't judge the Mormon faith at all.
Right.
Um, we don't judge any other religions, anything like that. What we do judge is all of this chaos that is not that these are separate things.
Right.
That's something that we should probably say is that Lori and Chad's behavior and Lori's niece's behavior and Alex's behavior, none of that is endorsed by the Mormon faith.
No.
This isn't how, true Mormon Christians act. This isn't normal behavior. This is out of this world behavior.
Right.
So, okay. So after Tammy, she calls the cops, they rule it as a prank. Life goes on for the moment. On July 10th, there was a Venmo payment from Tylee Ryan to Colby Ryan that says, "We love you." 6 days later, there was another Venmo payment from Tylee Ryan to Colby Ryan with a red heart. And on that same day, on October 16th, that is the estimated date that Melanie Bordeaux texted Brandon that she decided to move to Boise, Idaho, but moved to Rexburg. On October 17th, there was a Venmo payment from Tammy Daybell to Amber Bell, paying for, and it was parentheses, marathon. It's been confirmed that Amber Bell requested donations to attend and participate in a marathon. That was the marathon that Tammy was training to run in. On October 18th, 2019, Brandon files an emergency motion for temporary sole custody. The next day, on October 19th, 2019, that's the day of Tammy Daybell's death. Chad Daybell claims Tammy went to bed with a coughing fit and never woke up. An external exam was performed by Fremont County Coroner Brenda Dye. After Fremont County Sheriff's Office interviewed Chad Daybell and took a look around the residence, nothing seemed suspicious. Brenda Dye, the coroner, then declared Tammy's death to be natural causes. She was 49 years old.
Yes.
Yeah. October 22nd, 2019, That was Tammy Daybell's funeral services exactly 3 days later.
Yes.
Spring Creek Sixth Ward Chapel in Springville, Utah. Internment at Springville Evergreen Cemetery, where Chad previously was a sexton. So that a sexton takes care of the cemetery. If I'm
Yes.
yeah, okay. So he had
Twice, I believe, at that specific one. And there was another one he worked at, but I don't remember the name of that one.
okay. So he has a history of working in cemeteries around graves and has extensive knowledge of how the burial process
I think his
works.
experience was around 15 years between all of them.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I okay. On October 23rd, 2019, Tammy Daybell's memorial service at Henry Fork Stake Center in Rexburg, Idaho. On October 25th, 2019, a friend of Tylee Ryan's receives a text from Tylee Ryan's phone saying,
I didn't get the text yet.
okay,
I,
we're waiting on that.
yeah, I haven't got that yet. But basically, the friend had texted her on October 19th, the day Tammy died. And she didn't respond back to her until October 25th. And basically, what it said was, I miss you. I miss you too. Love you, or something to that effect. I just didn't put it in there yet because I wanted it to be accurate.
Okay. I remember reading about this
Yeah.
text, and the friend said that Tylee's response actually wasn't something that she would typically reply.
And everything was spelled out versus how she would have, like, normally, I guess, abbreviated it like kids do.
Right. And she also wouldn't have waited 2 days to text back, I don't believe, from what I
Well, it was
understood.
6 days.
It was what?
Because 6 days
Oh,
because she
oh,
on the 19th, the day Tammy died.
okay. Okay. So yeah, it wasn't typical for Tylee to wait that long to text one of her friends back. All right. From October 2019 to November 2019, sometime after Tammy's memorial service, Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow take a trip to Hawaii. The exact dates aren't known. This is actually when it's suspected that they were married.
Yes.
Um, I believe that the actual suspected date of their marriage is, oh, it's down there on the timeline, November 15th. So,
We just can't
um,
because the records aren't public.
yeah, they're too new. They're too new because you're just talking like, 2 months ago. They just got married 2 months ago. Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy, has only been dead not even 3 months at this point right now. Um, so this is all very, very new stuff.
And it all happened very fast.
Yes, yeah. I mean, his wife, Chad's wife of 29 years, is dead, and he gets married a couple weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Lori's husband, she was with him for 6 or 7 years.
No, they were married 13.
Okay, yep, you're right. They had adopted JJ.
Uh-huh.
That's where I got the 6 or 7 years. So yeah, they were married for 13 years, and her husband was just shot and killed by her brother in July, and here she is marrying this guy in November. So, okay, while Chad and Lori are on their trip in Hawaii, Melanie Boudreaux is arrested for suspicion of trespassing on Brandon's parents' property in American Fork, Utah. She was released within an hour of booking. November 15th, 2019, that is the estimated date that Chad and Lori's marriage occurred. Again, the records are unavailable because they're too new to pull up through any of the databases. You can go on with this if you want.
Okay. November 19th, 2019, there's a Facebook post made by a close friend of Tammy Daybell. It states, a month ago, a close friend unexpectedly passed away, young and healthy with the family. They buried that person so quick as to not do an autopsy and buried her hours from where she was living. The husband made his kids go through her clothes within days of her passing, and he had almost every detail planned for the funeral within an hour of finding her body. He moved out of his house a few days later. Where did it go? And took off to Hawaii. Well, he just got back and has remarried 3 weeks after she died. He said he's known her for a year. What? An investigation has opened, and many of us have felt something has been off. But this just blew it out of the water. How do we help the children as they've just lost their mother and their dad just showed up with a new wife unexpectedly? They are struggling. Now, this person posted this post on November 19th. The kids were not, the welfare check wasn't for almost another week later. And they state that there was an investigation in her death already open. So I don't know who initiated the death investigation.
That's interesting.
I found it interesting that the date was almost a week before the welfare check.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. It's a little bit too coincidence.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I'm getting tongue tied tonight. Coincidental. Yeah, crazy.
November 26, 2019, Rexburg PD performs a welfare check at JJ at Lori and Chad's townhouse. Lori and Chad both tell Ellie that JJ is staying with a close friend of the family in Arizona. Ellie confirms he is not. Melanie Boudreau was present during the welfare check, per an inside source. She also was living in the same complex, and so was Lori's brother Alex. So they all moved from Arizona to Rexburg and lived in the same apartment complex.
It seems that Alex was Lori's like
Minion. I mean, whatever she
yeah.
said, he did it. Like he
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. It's just I wonder how I don't know, she must be a very I don't know the right word for it. One of those people that easily persuades others. What would you call that? Manipulate
Yes.
a manipulator, definitely,
Yes.
but she's very like I
Persuasive,
don't yeah,
controlling. I mean, they're just,
yeah. It's I don't know. He was pretty
it's crazy.
damn devoted to his sister.
It's just crazy how she talks all these people into doing all this insane stuff.
I wish I knew if Alex had the same beliefs as Lori, if he believed all the same stuff that Lori believed.
Right.
That would be interesting to know, but we can't ask him that because he's dead.
Right. It'd be interesting to know if that's how Melanie believes too, or if, because Melanie was Lori's sister Stacy's daughter, Stacy, that died.
Right.
So did she look at her more like a mother figure, or and that's how she was able to draw her in, or did she actually like convince her all this stuff is real,
Right.
or did she take care of her, help take care of her to where she felt she owed it to her?
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know. It's like, you know, I tend to believe that she followed in Lori's footsteps.
Right.
And because Lori said it, Melanie believed it,
Right. Like she had
And
that pull on people.
right, and Lori made open vocal statements that, she was going to have her husband killed.
Yeah.
And she had an angel that would help her bury the body. So it's pretty coincidental that she then, ends up with Chad Daybell, who worked at a cemetery
Mm-hmm.
for a good portion of his life. He worked at cemeteries working around graves and probably, preparing graves and digging them and all of that stuff. And Lori says to Charles, "Hey, I have an angel that's going to help me bury your body."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if somebody told me that, I probably wouldn't come home and I would send for my kids. But
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And poor Charles, I've heard such great things about him. Nobody
Yeah.
has said anything bad about this man. And he just, he adopted his sister's son or his sister's grandson. JJ is his sister's grandson. And Charles and Lori adopted JJ to raise him. And Charles was just a good guy.
I haven't heard anybody personally say one negative word about him.
Me either. Me either. And there's, like 3,500 people in this Facebook group that we have on this case. And even reading other places, I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about him. It's all been positive, good things.
Right.
So it's just sad.
And he even told his attorneys that if he was ever killed, to know and make sure everyone knew it was his wife and his brother in law, Alex, that killed him.
Right. And then there's Melanie, who, her her uncle,
Yeah.
Alex, is suspecting of being the one who tried to kill her husband.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically the same thing that happened to Charles, except Brandon, by the grace of God, survived.
Right
That
after
that
killing her other uncle.
right.
I mean, he
a-
was, a part of their family for 13 years.
Right.
That's a long time.
Absolutely. It's a very long time. Very, very long time. It's almost like Melanie is Lori's mini me.
Yes. She looks a lot like her, too.
She does. She does. All right, so we need to finish up this timeline.
November 27th, 2019, Rexburg PD, along with the FBI and Fremont County Sheriff's Office, execute a search warrant at the Daybell residence, the townhome. They conclude the newlyweds have vacated the premises. They learn Lori has a 17-year-old daughter who is now considered missing. They didn't know Tylee existed when they did the welfare check. It's when they came back that they found out she had this daughter. Alex Cox and Melanie Boudreau both reside in the same apartment complex as Lori. The FBI kicks in Alex Cox's door, and he has also vacated. A neighbor stated that they saw them load up a silver truck and leave. November 29th, 2019, Alex Cox marries Zulema Pastenes in Clark County, Nevada. November 30th, the very next day, 2019, Melanie Boudreau marries Ian Pulowski in Clark County, Nevada. So I guess they both just rode together to Nevada and got married on different days. December 2nd, 2019, Brandon Boudreau files a petition to modify child custody. November 11th, 2019, Utah Medical Examiner's Office exhumed the remains of Tammy Daybell per the request of Fremont County Coroner Brenda Dye due to suspicious circumstances surrounding her death. On December 12th, the very next day, Alex Cox is found unresponsive in his home in Arizona and pronounced deceased. Per an inside source, Alex Cox was found in a pool of his own vomit and feces. His 13-year-old is the one that made the 911 call. The autopsy results as of this morning are still pending. December 17th, 2019, temporary sole custody was granted to Brandon Boudreau. December 20th, 2019, Rexburg PD releases a presser listing the children as missing and endangered. They state, we are urgently requesting your help in finding these two missing endangered children. Please share with all your contacts and contact us if you have any information. The presser notes say, Fremont County Sheriff's Office made aware of missing children during Tammy Daybell's death investigation. The children have not been reporting missing to any agencies as of right now. On December 23rd, 2019, Sean Bartholick, attorney, issued a statement on the Daybell's behalf. Chad Daybell was a loving husband and has the support of his children in this matter. Lori Daybell is a devoted mother and resents assertions to the contrary. We look forward to addressing the allegations once they have moved beyond speculation and rumor. December 23rd, the same day, Eric Smith, who is attached to Julie Rowe, he's actually written one of her books before. He posts on the Julie Rowe page, "Have no fear, the plan is moving forward perfectly. There are higher purposes in every happening now. Let the energy play out. The truth will be revealed and darkness will be exposed. It is not time yet, but we are ahead of schedule, and I have no fear. I am calm, at peace. Everything will be okay, Julie." Hashtag Chad Daybell, hashtag Lori Vallow. I don't know what that means. I understood it as they were ahead of schedule from whenever they originally thought the end of the earth was, but I'm not 100% because I don't know. From the comments, that's what I got.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then she, did her little podcast in a car.
Yeah, and she saw a vision of the children in a living room,
Yes.
but I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yep. It's crazy.
It is.
All right. On December 24th, 2019, Christmas Eve, Colby Ryan makes his first public acknowledgement of the children's unexplained disappearance through his YouTube channel. On Christmas, December 25th, 2019, Colby and Kelsey Ryan both make a public Facebook post with "Merry Christmas, wish you were here, Tylee and JJ," with photos attached. On December 26th, 2019, Michael and Nancy James, the owners of Preparing a People and Color My Media, released statements disassociating themselves and businesses with Chad Daybell. They remove all physical recordings of Preparing a People with Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow Daybell, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And other speakers and archive them, claiming Chad Daybell was only a client of their business and was his last speaking was in February of 2019. However, if you go back to March 2019, you will see that is found to be untrue. How is that found to be untrue? Is there posts from them supporting him in March?
There is a podcast that states that he went to Mesa, Arizona and went to a book signing for Preparing a People. And him and
Okay.
Jason Mao, however you say it, were presenters. And I've got a screenshot of a Facebook post of the girl that is in the podcast with them on the date that they met.
Okay. All right.
And all their podcasts are just like wiped clean. They're just gone.
Yeah, I heard a very, very small portion of Lori's, but it was literally like one sentence.
Right.
Something about like, if you do bad today, it's okay. You just get up and do better tomorrow. It was very, very short, but she sounds deranged.
Right. And I also have a screenshot of a Facebook post that Michael James made saying camping with good friends, and Chad Daybell is tagged in it. Well, his Facebook was tagged in it. It's not highlighted anymore because he closed his account,
Wow. All
which means
right.
they were more than just his client.
Yeah, they were friends. They were,
Right.
yeah. Yeah. On December 30th, 2019, Rexburg Police Department releases a new presser. The presser states, "The missing children search is still ongoing. They believe the children's lives are in danger. They are aware in the weeks after Tammy Daybell's death that Lori and Chad both told witnesses that Lori's daughter Tylee died the year before her father did, putting Tylee's death in 2017, which was found to be untrue. Chad Daybell told another witness that Lori had no minor children. They know that the children are not with Lori or Chad. Lori Daybell or Vallow, has refused to work with law enforcement to resolve this matter. Law enforcement stated, "We publicly call on Lori Daybell and Chad Daybell to do the right thing and come forward with information they have about the location and welfare of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow." On January 3rd, 2020, FBI and Rexburg Police Department assist FCSO execute a search warrant at the Daybell residence in Salem, Idaho, the same location that Tammy Daybell's death occurred. The search warrant is obtained. A search warrant is obtained linked to Tammy Daybell's death. They stated they were searching for chemicals or blood, looking for what happened to cause Tammy's death. They collected 43 items of evidence. Law enforcement was seen with rakes, shovels, and metal detectors outside the home, and it was a 2-day search. Emma Daybell, who is Chad and Tammy's daughter, pulls up while a news reporter is outside the house reporting on the search. It's a live feed. It's, oh my gosh, I can't even say it without laughing. She pulls up while this reporter is talking about this house being searched, and she starts making all these faces behind the news reporter. And the news reporter is talking about the autopsy of her mother's death. And Emma's back there, and she said something. I couldn't make out what she said, but she's like making like goofy, like little kid faces at the camera, like
Like
mocking.
13-year-old.
Yes, like a child. And she's a grown woman who's married and has a baby.
Oh, she's a teacher too.
Yeah, and she's a teacher. So this is Chad and Tammy's daughter, whose mother's dead. Her death's being investigated. Her mother's body was exhumed to have an
She's
autopsy performed.
where her
And her,
dad,
what was that?
she supposedly doesn't know where her dad is, and all this is happening. There's missing children, and she's just making faces.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. But of course, nothing else would be more appropriate in this case than for that
Right.
to happen. On January 4th, 2020, law enforcement continued the day 2 search of the Daybell residence. When completed, they returned the residence back over to 2 of the Daybell sons that were residing in the home and are currently still residing there, Garth and Seth Daybell, 2 adult sons of Tammy and Chad. So that's basically the end of the timeline. I'm going to change my screen share because I would like to get the kids' pictures out there. There was a press conference last week with JJ's grandparents. We have that press conference on our channel. It's very sad to listen to. They just want to know where their grandson is. They want to know where Tylee is. I'm going to pull up that picture. What was that?
All they want to do is just bring them home.
Yeah, they just want to bring them home, and you can watch that press conference again on our channel. It's here, and it's very. They just talk about JJ and how he was in life, and it's just sad. Let me pull up the missing kids flyer here and get it shared with you guys. This is the horrible thing about using your son's computer, because I don't know how to find anything. My son's computer. I don't know how to find anything. I'll get it. So yeah, this case has a lot of strange things going on. And in the center of it, there are 2 children who are missing, and the FBI has said they are in danger or that something has happened to them. Their faces need to get out there. There is currently a $20,000 reward leading to the discovery of the children. We need people to see their faces, because if you set all this bullshit aside and all this craziness aside, the kids are the focus. They are what matter. And they need to be found. God
They
only
do.
knows where Lori has taken them or where they're at, because Lori and Chad, with the groups that they're associated with, they have a lot of,
They have a lot of resources.
yes, a lot of resources.
Yes.
A lot of resources and a lot of people that will help them. So it's just very, very, very scary.
It is.
All right, I need to share this with you guys just so you can see. This is the newest flyer. And I think, oops, that's not it. Did that pull it up? I can't see it from where I'm at. Let me look. StreamYard is hard. Will, I know you're down there in the comments. It's not my favorite thing. There needs to be another. No, that's okay. All right, that's not sharing. We'll do it another way. Let's do it this way. We're going to wrap this up really soon. I just want to get their new flyer out there. Okay, so we'll pull it up from the Real Massacre top post. And it should pop up. Hopefully. There we go. That is the newest flyer for them. They have the last date of being seen as September 23rd, 2019 in Rexburg. There is a Facebook page for them called findjjandtylee.com.
That's just a website.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, a website, not a Facebook page. Again, it's findjjandtylee.com. They are listed in the missing and exploited children website database. And there's two different numbers you can call: 1-800-843-5678 or 208-359-3000. There's been a couple supposed sightings of Tylee, although we don't know if that's true. It seems like there's, anytime there's a missing person case, there's always sightings. And I don't want to say it's not true, because we always have hope.
Right.
Always. But, we've not been able to confirm them. And as far as I know, police haven't been able to confirm them either. So we just need to find these kids. They could literally be anywhere. Lori is known to live in Hawaii, actually.
Yes.
And travel back and forth to Hawaii. And, they have connections in Arizona. She's got connections in multiple states. Her BFF, Julie Rowe, who, has all these visions and knew about Chad's visions of his wife dying. I believe she's in Kansas. So literally, yeah. Literally, these kids could be anywhere. And even though law enforcement, they do say that they believe that they are endangered. They believe that, Lori knows what has happened to them or where they are. I think it's important to remain hopeful and hope that we can find them or somebody sees them. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. I don't know if there's any questions down there. I'll look. It's hard to keep up with everything in the comments. Yeah. So, yep, if you guys could actually just, if you go to our Facebook page, I'm not sure if this is a pin post or not, but I'm going to pin it to the top. If you could just share this flyer to get their face out there. We don't care about people joining our Facebook group. If you want to join, that's great. You're welcome. We're not here to promote our Facebook group, promote our YouTube channel. Our ultimate goal is to get these kids' names and faces out there so that people are aware. There's a lot of people aware of this case, but there's a lot of people who aren't aware of it. And we really, really just need to find them. So with that said, I think we're going to sign off for the night. Again, if you check our Facebook page, I'll pin this post. Please share it.
Yes.
So we can get their names out there. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, Christina.
Bye.
Bye, guys.